Well, if you're one of those optimistic travelers holding on to a Mango Airlines ticket from way back in 2021, you might want to rummage through your inbox as the airline starts to wrap its business rescue process with an investor in tow. Now, the airlines opened a voucher claims portal for passengers left grounded when it hit business rescue turbulence 3 years ago. But don't unpack your bags just yet, or rather, don't pack your bags just yet. There's still a bit of runway left before Mango takes off again. And with all those puns, we have business reporter Ntokozo Khumalo joining us for more on this one. Ntokozo, I'll hand it over to you.
I'm sure I did well, though, Aravile. Thank you so much. Indeed, that has been the story over the past 2 days. Passengers getting excited when we saw those reports, that updates from the business practitioner. But Michelle did have a conversation with him earlier on, Siposono, and he did clarify that there is still a lot of work to do when it comes to wrapping up that business rescue process, with an investor possibly looking to buy, but still some checklists that must be done. And that a voucher portal really being more about tracking and verifying those unflown tickets. But I do have a business practitioner with us here, Phiri. Thank you so much for talking to us. And it's really to help us get to grips and understand exactly where we are. As I just said, Siposono, the Mango Airlines business practitioner, making it clear that it's probably not by December that we will have the airline back in the skies. How long do we have to go, and what sort of checklist will the investors still be working through?
Oh, thank you, Ntokozo, and thank you for having me, and thank you to the listeners. Look, we understand that the process has been here for quite some time. I think it's now 3 years that the business proceedings for Mango has been going on. In terms of the investors, the checklist that they have to go through, it depends on the practical turnaround plan that the business risk practitioner will present to the investors for them to buy it and come and invest money into Mango. It's not that easy, though, because of the timelines, as I said. But I'm not an expert in airline industries, but what I know for sure is that what is quite critical is the routes that the airline have been operating years before. So the licenses to those routes, if they are still valid, and the practitioner has to demonstrate or to present that to the creditors, I mean to the investors. Once that is done, I don't see investors taking time to finalize the deal, because we all know that Mango Airline has got a market share in the market. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when we dig into those tickets, because I think what a lot of South Africans are looking for clarity around is those unflown tickets that if you bought, from July, that you could get that voucher or get that refund. But there is a catch that if the investment agreement does not come through, then passengers will be part of the creditors. How does that work? Does that mean a lot more time to still wait out to either get the voucher or a refund?
Yeah, so in terms of Chapter 6 of the Companies Act, all the creditors are classified in terms of their debts that are due to the business. And if my understanding is correct, these tickets, they end up to be non-secured creditors who will be concurrent creditors. And when it comes to concurrent creditors, unfortunately, in business rescue, they will be the last ones to be looked after once the secured creditors and all the, if there will be post-commencement finances that come through, they will be looked after before the concurrent creditors. It will be unpredicted at this stage because also when the investors come in, they have to see that the airline have started to produce their profits. And after that, maybe it's when they can consider these tickets that were already purchased before, but they are not utilized.
So perhaps waiting for profitability before you can actually take a Mango flight then with those unflown tickets.
Yeah, investors are always cautious about losing their money, so that will be their emphasis going forward.
And Charles, just help us understand, because Mango Airlines is a state-owned company that will now become a private company once the investor comes in. Help us understand the difference between the sort of business rescue process for a privately owned business and a state-owned business. Are there any differences, or it's the same thing?
So, Chapter 6 of the Companies Act is quite clear in terms of the provisions how the business risk proceedings should be proceeded. So there's no doubt about that. There's no difference when it comes to either it's a state-owned or it's a private company. What might differ is in this situation, because Mango is a state-owned, it might go into a number of approvals before the deal is finalized. While in a private
as we saw SAA needing to get those approvals from the departments.
Absolutely. That would be the concern, being a state-owned organization. But in a private, you just deal straightforward with the shareholders, and the deal can be concluded within a reasonable time.
And just help us understand, Charles, before I let you go, the duration and what goes on in a business rescue process, because we are seeing Mango Airlines, but in different industries, quite recently, Daybreak as well, going through that business rescue process, and currently really in that business rescue process. For workers, what does that mean? I mean, Mango, it's been years, so I'm sure a lot of those workers have found alternative employment. But for those maybe whose businesses or companies are just going under business rescue, what sort of activity should workers expect when it comes to the company's ability to pay them when the company does make a turnaround, what that means for their jobs?
Yeah, I think it was an emotional process going through when it comes to employees, because most of the employees, they even don't understand what business rescue entails. But I always tell my clients that as soon as you see these signs of being financially distressed, make an alarm, make a call, and meet the turnaround professional guys that are going to help you to turn around the business before it gets worse. Because by that, then you are giving assurance to your employees that, look, we have brought in intervention at an early stage, and by doing that, yes, you find out that the jobs will be preserved, and employees will continue to work going forward. You know.
Well, and I suppose in the state of the economy right now and unemployment, we need all the businesses in the country to actually survive through. Charles, as always, thank you so much for your time. Well, we leave the conversation there, Arabile, as of course we wait to hear from the business rescue practitioner on who exactly the investor is in Mango Airlines and what it means for then passengers with those unflown tickets. But it's back to you with the headlines at the top of the hour.